So friends, we are here for session number 2 of the Pain Points webinar that we started in the morning. And I hope those of you who attended in the morning had something to gain from it. We are beginning part 2, which is a continuation of the same. Of course, I'll give a brief rehash of a few things that we did in the morning so that those who were not there, they can get a fair amount of idea what we have been discussing in a way or so. Okay, just a sec. Yes, the screen is visible, I guess. So can you see the screen? Please type visible in the chat box. Okay, great. Because my screen is not available over here. I don't know how. Just let me share it again. Okay, so let's begin today's session, part 2. I hope the screen is visible. Who all cannot see my screen? Is the screen visible? Please type again for me. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. At any given point of time, if you have any issues with the connection, audio, video, please put it up in the chat box. I'll keep checking the chat box because the screen is not visible at my end. For the timing, I have muted all of you so that there is no disturbance as such. So this is session number 2 day on this day. So as usual, big thanks to Lord Almighty has given me much more than what I deserve. And of course, this is the mini day of education that we all are witnessing because of this great man who happened to be my father. And of course, somebody's audio is on, it is creating a lot of disturbance. Please keep your audios on the mute, please. Please keep your audios on the mute. Okay. So we are celebrating the mini day of education 2. The mini day of education 1 we celebrate on the 30th of June. And of course, this is my brief CV. You all are aware of it by now. So we are doing this pain points in dentistry for, you can say, in 2 parts. We did the first part in the morning and we'll be doing the second part now. So for those of you who were not in the morning, we started with this slide because everybody has pain points. There will be hardly anyone with 0, 1, and there will be many with the 0 with the scale at 10. And then we discussed the brief definition that no profession is bereft from pain points. Everybody has it. Somebody feels it more, somebody feels it less. Pain points are nothing but problems. As I said, I had gone through all the problems and I had segregated these into 7 parts. Of course, there can be various heads more also, but try to generalize it in these points: financial pain points, productivity pain points, process pain points, support pain points, ethical pain points, not in our hand pain points, and miscellaneous pain points, majority for the salad one. So we discussed 1 and 2 in the morning, and I'll continue from third point, process pain points. So around 3:10 or so, we'll try to wind up the session. Whatever points are done by then, because I'm not going to rush it. If something is left, maybe we can plan another part 3, maybe next week. So don't worry, I'm here to answer all the queries to whatever limit I can. So these were a few things we were segregating all into various heads. So this is a list of the financial pain points that I had given you. We discussed all, especially the footfall part, the relationship it of the same to your marketing part, then the relationship of same to the charging part. How does it make a difference? People always complain about low footfall, but they hardly make an effort. Or if they make an effort, they just consider this effort to be a one-time or a two-time affair. So you need to remember that everything, every act done by us needs consistency. So if you are not consistent, you will not be gaining out of it. So we discussed about 22 points in the financial pain points, and then we took up the productivity part, the lack of patience, footfall, rural areas. I established the connection between the two already. The marketing part, the offline and the online, how is it to be done, and what are the reasons people find these problems, giving you various examples and anecdotes along with, and of course, giving you various analogies as well. So we discussed about 13 points in there in the productivity part. So let's begin today's session with the part 2 in the afternoon session. So let's see what the process pain points holds for us. So before I begin the process pain points, I like to single out the two of the queries that I came across. Maybe I could have juiced it down and put it into various categories, but I intended to put it up in toto. Of course, not revealing the identity of the participants. So number 1 was female graduate dentists with small kids at home and non-dentist husbands want to upgrade their knowledge and want to progress positively in the field. But huge setup liabilities and monthly expenses make them helpless. Again, all of these things have a good correlation with everything. I really, you can say, empathize with the female dentists who have to sacrifice a portion of their career sometimes in bringing up the family. But then at the end of the day, if you realize this thing is a very important part in any female's life. A female can get back to this profession, you can say get back to clinical profession very fast if they have the support of either set of parents, the boys' parents or the girls' parents. Unfortunately, in today's times, this thing has become a big issue, and the nuclear family culture coming up, you don't want to, you can say, leave children in the crèche. The parents are living in another city, or maybe the parents are not there, or maybe we don't live, we are not in talking terms with the parents, or maybe we can't take the kid to the clinic. There are so many parameters involved in that. But yes, those who can, please, please, please use your parents. I'm not saying in wrong way, but please use your parents in helping you out. These days, there are a lot of ways available wherein the females can keep working till the 7th or the 8th month, and maximum, you can say, a break of 2 to 3 months. In 4 months, 5 months, they can join back. Of course, I understand that maybe that is not a good time. Sometimes the baby needs a nursing care in the initial phase. But yes, if those things can be managed with the help of parents, or maybe with a separate room in the clinic premises itself in the initial phase of 1 year, where you can balance both the kid and your clinic, it's perfectly all right. Of course, you need additional help for that, additional maid for that. But yes, you have to make a compromise somewhere if you want to get back to your profession fast, where you don't lose your child company as well, and where you do your clinical work as well. Because sometimes a certain section of emails also report with this thing, that a break actually help them rust their capabilities, which is sometimes not doesn't apply to everyone, but yes, it is also a fact for some. Then the second scenario which I came across was BDS has to learn almost everything. I'll do this second one in different parts. BDS has to learn almost everything to provide all kinds of treatment to his or her patient. If it is a good earning place, specialists will come over and handle. But if patient's not ready to pay more, BDS has to or lose the patient due to inability to do. The first thing I would put up here is, why do you need to do everything? Why do you want to be the master of everything? You need to really decide what are your like subjects and what are your love subjects. As Dr. Rajiv Verma sir says, you need to identify what is your forte, what are the best things that you can do. Do not try to attempt everything. Yes, there is a medical legal angle in that as well, but the thing is, when you don't find entertainment, or you can say passion, mixing with your work, of course not entertainment in the wrong sense, but passion mixing with your work, you will not be able to give you 100%. So if you want to intend to give all types of treatment, yes, you need associates, you need specialists, you need consultants, but it is not a mandatory thing for everyone to attempt everything. Then we have to lose the patient due to inability to do. Never, if you don't have the consultants, you are in such a situation where you can't find help to delegate, and where you don't have the capability, leave that patient happily. If that subject is your loved one, then upgrade yourself in that. So don't mix two things. Passion and profession are two different things. Passion and profession, when mixed, success plus impact is equal to income. So this is where passion plus profession gives you proficiency and profit. It is as simple as that. So then, owing to huge financial burden already, how will a BDS gather courage to spend 30, 40, 60,000 rupees and learn, and then buy the appropriate updated equipments? The thing is, we need to be wary of the SOS syndrome, shiny object syndrome. Not every gadget, not every material that comes to you is a investment to be done. First, analyze where is your revenue coming from. For example, you are earning 1 lakh rupees, but your 80,000 of that is coming from your crown and bridge and root canal, and you are investing in an implant equipment. First, build up your market for implants. Till then, you can hire from the company. Most of the companies give it on the day of the surgery easily. Of course, that may be a problem in smaller centers, but no longer in tier 1 and tier 2. And then wait for the patient to come. The question is, wait for the patient to come. Means you update it because you like that, without building up the market for that in your target patient group. You are waiting for that patient to come because you made a SOS investment. Shiny object syndrome. This is the in thing today. This is trending today. So I made an investment without understanding where your revenue is coming from. And then charge less, because the patient also compares and prefers experienced doctor for advanced treatments rather than paying some less amount for a new doctor. It all boils down to how you sell. Yes, I use the word sell. How you communicate to use your skills to sell. Do not promise something out of this world, but it does not mean that you don't attempt normal things even. How you convey to the patient will only determine. Unfortunately, we are in a hurry to start the treatment on the first day itself. That is where the pitfall lies. So let's come to the process pain points. Lack of high ticket conversion. Why I put up that previous slide was because the first point was properly related to that. My clinic has an income being generated from crown and bridge restorations and root canals. So almost 80%, 85% income is coming from there. But everybody is doing implants. I feel bad that I can't do implants. I don't like it, but then I have to invest in it. I even used to hate surgeries during the college time. I don't want to do it. But अब सब कर रहे हैं तो मुझे करना पड़ेगा. And high ticket case. High ticket case can be what? Maybe a whitening one, maybe veneers, maybe a smile design, maybe a full mouth rehab, full mouth, a normal full mouth case, with multiple cavities, multiple root canals, a couple of extractions and bridges. Again, those things, these are primarily high ticket, but we understand high ticket only as a full mouth implant case. मैंने तो इसलिए किया कि फुल माउथ का कोई केस आ जाए तो मेरे को आना तो चाहिए ना इम्प्लांट. You learned implant. You learned to drive a car. Maybe you practiced it on a Maruti Swift or a Alto. A full mouth is a Ferrari. After learning at Maruti, do not attempt a Ferrari straight away. You need to make a difference in that. Then the second point is related to that. I did an implant course. मेरे से फिर भी हाई टिकट केस आता नहीं है. वो देखते मेरे सिर के ऊपर सफेद बाल कम है. They prefer an experienced doctor. मैं तो बच्चा सा लगता हूँ. I don't even I am 10 years plus into practice. I don't feel like a grown up, so they don't prefer me. So lack of awareness amongst patients. People complain lack of awareness amongst patients. Do you know how much percentage of Indian population gets dental treatment done? Put it up in the chat box. Between a number between 1 to 100, how much percentage of Indian population gets the dental treatment done? Please put it up for me in the chat box. 20, 20, 30, 15, 5. Someone with an iPhone said 5%. iPhone, please change your name. I don't feel like saying Dr. iPhone said 5%. Yes, exactly. 5% of Indian population gets dental treatment done. Imagine the scenario when more number of, just double the number. Today we fight over this thing. वो मेरा केस ले गया, वो मेरा केस ले गया, वो बाजू वाले ने कम रेट पे कर लिया. All that thing. We don't create an awareness amongst the patients. We complain. Dr. Mayur, change your name, don't worry. So we complain, lack of awareness amongst patients. Who is going to create it? Only two options. Third भी है वैसे, या तो वो भगवान जी से सीख के आए, वो पॉसिबल नहीं है, इसलिए मैंने बोला 2. या तो आप या गूगल बाबा, which we also know as the idiot syndrome. I'll come to that also. So if you are not giving that awareness, and when the patient is taking that information from Google, you crib and complain, but you don't create an awareness yourself. You need to understand. कोई अपने आप नहीं आ जाएगा. The more you invest in your profession, invest does not mean always money. Time is also an investment in your profession. If you create an awareness amongst patients, it is going to come back to you only. This is also giving back to the society. Plus, you are creating the need. What you always complain, patient को बताया, patient ने बोला सोच के बताएंगे, we will think over and let you know. But they never turned up. Or maybe, as we discussed in the morning session, they always complain, you are too expensive. And they never turned up. Some turn up and they say you are expensive. That is where we don't have to let our guard down, as I explained in the morning. But lack of awareness to be done by whom? Either Google or you. You mind it when the Google does it, and you are not ready to do it. It is like somebody has to make the food for me. I can't order from Zomato. Either your mom or your wife has to make it. Understand this. Or if they are not available, both of them are out of town, so you don't want to order from Zomato, then you have to make it yourself. It is as simple as that. Explore the options. If you can't create awareness, then who is the patient going to learn from? And then we expect certain changes. Like the elephant or like the elephant phenomenon, we tried it once. We tried it twice. हुआ था, try किया था, नहीं चला. I'm sorry, it does not work. Have I said anything to you when you don't watch my YouTube videos? मैं तो इतना ही बोलता हूं, आप देखते नहीं हो, खोल लिया करो चैनल कभी. 1500 लोग हो आप लोग 6 ग्रुप्स में, 6 से अब 3 हो गए. चलो, in 3+ groups you are 1500+ people. Only few videos have 1500+ views. Do I complain? Did I stop giving back to you? No. What is the need? What is the one thing that I do which you may have been fed up by now? Consistency. Consistency in your efforts. आज हम सारा दिन काम करेंगे, कल हम सारा दिन छुट्टी मारेंगे. It doesn't work that way. Even if you have to eat a big elephant, you still eat bite by bite. You don't eat all the elephant together. So if you have huge tasks to accomplish, slow and steady will win the race. 1.01 exponentiates into 37 times. So small consistent efforts done each day will always lessen your work. We keep on waiting for that one elusive day that will come and we'll do all our pending tasks. That one elusive day never comes. Then explaining the breakup of charges. Oh, sorry. Let me get back to this awareness part. Now, I have told you two ways of marketing in the morning. The organic ways. Let's not discuss the inorganic ways. I've discussed the two, one offline networking part, and of course, the organic way of having your digital footprints. Now, that does not mean creating your profile and or make it and forget it. It is not that kind of an approach. Now, why I did not mention it in the morning? Because I had reserved this portion for this step. Number one thing, your digital footprint should be consistent. Same identification. For example, you see my digital footprints, all are in the name of Dr. Bhavdeep, Dr. Bhavdeep. Nothing here, nothing there, except my page. वो इसलिए because my profile on FB is Dr. Bhavdeep. The page is Dr. Bhavdeep Ahuja. Everything from Linktree to YouTube channel to Facebook to even the new page or new group which I have launched today, again, that is going to be the same, Dr. Bhavdeep. So have a common digital footprint which becomes identifiable with your audience. If you have a separate one which has not been used, make a new one. Make a new one. Now, what is to be done? As a part of your awareness, you can write blogs, you can make podcasts, you can make small videos, whichever way suits you. Place it on any of the things that you want. YouTube channel is free, podcasts are free, place it over there. Website is a big tool. Website can serve as a cross linkage between these two. I told you in the morning, nobody is going to buy from you the first time they come across you online. If you're going to go in for paid marketing, you better have an organic base first. If you don't have an organic base first, you are going to burn your money in the paid part. So have an organic base set up where you consistently do a consistent effort. Monday को blog जाएगा, Tuesday को podcast जाएगा, Thursday को video जाएगा. 10, we can say 50 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. Get over this. Get over this fear. नहीं, मुझे शर्म आती है, video कौन बनाएगा? Patient से testimonial कैसे लोगे? If you are living in this fear, if you don't this thing, then how are you going to ask this from your patient? Remember one important line, your customer is a reflection of your abilities. Your customer is a reflection of your abilities. What you don't like to do and you expect your customer or your patient to do will not be done. Remember one thing. So if you are not giving feedback, you are not making any videos, the patient is not going to give you. Now, all these educational stuff which create awareness coupled with the feedback part from the patients placed on your website do give you what? They give you social validation. The patient comes across your ad, this doctor, I'm seeing this ad for the third or the fourth time. Let me check him out. Let me check the landing page. Landing page is when you click on the ad, the page opens up. It need not be your website page. It can be your website page. It can be a hyperlink. It can be anything. But whatever page opens up, it is your landing page. We call it as a landing page in internet marketing language. So landing page, they see this doctor has this body of work being done. He's creating a lot of awareness for the society. He has good feedbacks also. So that means he is a good doctor. I told you about the halo effect in the morning, which works in offline marketing. You go and talk nicely to the shopkeepers and then it creates a halo. वो डॉक्टर आए थे मेरे पास बात अच्छे कर रहे तो काम भी अच्छा करते होंगे. He was nice in communication. He must be working well as well. So create a halo effect via this. So people always advise नहीं करते marketing करो, marketing करो, marketing करो. जो लेक्चर सुनता है बेचारा उसको ये पता ही नहीं होता what is bloody marketing. This is marketing only. But this is an organic marketing, which I am telling you. It requires only time and effort. No money involved in this. No money involved in this in the initial phase. And this is a good way to start. But if you don't want to even start this and rely only on paid, you ought to have a good ancestral income flowing in other than your clinic income. I must warn you. You need to then work out. I burned 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, but I got 2 referrals. What does that mean? If you spend 30,000 and got 2 leads, your CPL is 15,000. What is CPL? Cost per lead. वो भी mature हुई कि नहीं? An ideal lead for dentistry scenario is 1000 से 1500 रुपए. If your CPL can be brought down to 1000 to 2000 rupees for a patient, that is considered a very good lead. In normal situations, the CPL should work out to 100 to 200 rupees for other marketing stuff. But for our patients part, somebody asked me about the budget in the morning. An optimum budget, not less, not more, is 1000 rupees per day, which is roughly 30,000 rupees per month. This is an optimum one. But this is to be attempted only when you have an organic base setup. Number 2, this is to be done consistently. ये नहीं एक महीना किया, 3 लीड आई थी, मैंने बंद कर दिया 1 महीने बाद. This is not to be done. This is not to be done. Make it, give it a long rope, spend some time over this, and then talk about कि मेरे को result मिला कि नहीं मिला. We keep on complaining, patient आते ही नहीं है, footfall होते ही नहीं है. अरे तुमने क्या effort किया? What effort have you made? If you have not done any effort except from warming up your chair in the clinic when the patients were not there, then what is the use? Coming to third, explaining the breakup of charges. So if, awareness part, if things are clear to you, type CT in the chat box. Clear to me. Type CT in the chat box if things are clear to you awareness wise, organic wise, inorganic wise, which I discussed in the morning. Great, thank you. So explaining the breakup of the charges that we offer. What is wrong in that? What is wrong in that? But then tell the patient who says, if somebody asks you that आपकी filling के charge, filling कितने का पड़ता है material आपको? That is not to begin, of course. But somebody asks you, you have given a bill estimate of 20,000 rupees. What is included in this? 2 root canals, 3 crowns, whatever. कितने का crown है, कितने का हुआ? Let him do the calculation. He may calculate and then come back to you. Sir, this works out to 15,000. You said 20,000. What is there? Sir, you did not count restorations. You didn't ask also, I didn't tell also. So these 3,000 is for the restorations and 2,000 is plus minus 10%. So I've given you an estimate of 20,000. The problem comes when you give an estimate of 20,000 and your final estimate turns out to be, final bill turns out to be 27,000. What will the patient's first reaction would be? The patient would say, आप तो लूट रहे हो, आपने 20 बोल के उसको 1.5 गुना कर दिया. He'll imagine 27 as 30 only. Then we have no one to answer to because our own assumption and correction estimates were not correct. Maybe we made an error in judgment. And then all these things are to be done in written. As I said, we do all this in the consent form. We don't rely on verbal thing anymore, or rather since many years now, in long or big ticket or even medium ticket cases. So break up the charges. Yes, do that. Why not? Why not? Yes, वो बिल्कुल ही micro level पे मत करो. Then getting good and reliable staff. Staff is a big pain point. We all know that many a times we don't get good staff members. अगर मिल जाता तो हमें nurture करना नहीं आता. I'll explain you. Staff का शायद question 2-3 बार ही आएगा अलग-अलग जगह पे. Any staff member before nurturing needs 4 things from us, or can be nurtured in 4 aspects. If he gets a financial growth, if he gets a career growth, if he gets a work-life balance, if he gets a respect and care. Those who say, I can't retain staff, other than the reasons of COVID. COVID में जो हुआ मेरे साथ भी हुआ, staff, I lost staff. But other than those who are having staff members since 5 years and they have a complaint, वो चीजें तोड़ते हैं, they are callous in their attitude, they don't worry about this thing. Ask yourself these 4 questions. Do you give them financial growth? Do you give them career growth? Do you give them respect and care? Do you give them work-life balance? Now, I'll just break down in brief about these all 4. Financial growth, if you're increasing your charges or not increasing your charges, they expect a raise every year. If you can't raise your charges every year, does not mean they have to live on that income. They will start looking out for revenues. Then what you pay should be decently good enough. Means at par or maybe a little above par with the market rates. At par or a little above par with the market rates. Then career growth. Everybody wants training. Everybody wants to learn new skills, new aspects in life. How many of you actually indulge in staff training? Forget every other training. How many of you actually make your staff enroll for the BLS training? Answer yes or no in the chat box. Answer it honestly. In the past 3 years, have you enrolled your staff for at least 3 BLS? Yes or no in the chat box. Then this is one basic aspect. अगर इससे उनका career grow नहीं करेगा, इससे आपका ही फायदा होगा. In some emergency, if God forbid that thing comes, everything happens in life for a reason. I truly believe in that. So if your staff is getting trained today, maybe who knows what comes handy for him tomorrow or for you tomorrow. Then work-life balance. 8 घंटे क्लिनिक चलता है, वो 9 घंटे काम करेंगे. आधा घंटा पहले आएंगे, आधा घंटा बाद जाएंगे. That is perfectly acceptable. But 2 घंटे का ओवर टाइम लगवाया, did you pay them for that? संडे को काम करवा लिया, did you pay them for that? कोई छुट्टी नहीं मिलती है, संडे को भी हम काम करेंगे, 6.5 दिन मैं नहीं काम करता, तुम कर लोगे तो क्या हो जाएगा? Same salary which you are not raising, no work-life balance, they are dependent only on you for their own income. They need an advance you can't give. And then you expect the staff to be loyal and retentive. Last aspect, respect and care. People feel macho. आज मैंने staff को बजा डाला. You bajao them for 1 day, they will bajao you for 29 days of the month. Remember this. Praise in public, criticize in private. That is the golden rule. Remember that always. Even if your spouse is a dentist, male or female, anything. If you're a female, your male, your husband should not be there. If you are a male, your wife should not be there. When you should have a proper way of giving a feedback. अब आप में से बहुत लोगों को मैंने एक स्टाफ का सेशन लिया था. If you remember, on 30th of June, on the mini day of education 1, I gave you an exercise to make that role document for them. Only 21 or 22 of you attempted that. If you remember, out of 1500 people, only 21, 22 attempted that. As I said in the morning, the staff did one job. अब मैं क्या करूं? Especially the one who is new. I don't know. You should know what next work should be. अरे उसको सपना आ जाएगा. If they don't have a clarity, there has to be a system settled. Somebody asked me about the system. What is the system? You need to have a clarity first. What is their role properly in the clinic? What all to do? Then how will you build up that how competent they are, whether they fit in that role or not. Of course, I discussed about how about the hiring and the firing of the staff in that session. I'm not going to take up in that. That video is already on YouTube. You can watch that. So I'm not going to waste precious time over that. But what I mean to say is there has to be a phased process. You will give a feedback. I gave you a role clarity. We discussed over it that you will attempt these things, but unfortunately, you are not attempting the things the way I want you to attempt. Can I know the reasons? What is stopping you from fulfilling your full duty, or what is stopping you from not attempting those things which we have discussed you will attempt? He might tell you the genuine reasons or non-genuine. This is phase one. Phase two begins with, we talked about this thing, you promised about this thing, I'm really not seeing you improve over the period of the past 1 or 2 months. Is there anything else you want me to do, or you want me to shift to another role in the clinic? He may be vocal or non-vocal. No, I'm sorry, I will do it. Then maybe the third time you can tell that this is not working out anymore, of course, and this way you do it. Now this is the way of properly giving the feedback and maybe firing the wrong person. Of course, there are another detailed aspects to that which we discuss in a proper 2-hour session in that, but this is one thing. Now if you have to give them an appraisal means the raise every year, giving them a via feedback. How will you do that? There has to be a proper scientific system for that also. You have to have a budget for that also. You need to understand if your clinic is earning something extra in a particular month, they also need to get a bonus about that. It is not only that the 12th month of Diwali, you remember that they'll be given a bonus. So understand that part first. Hiring, firing, feedback, praise, criticize, all of that is a part of the strong HR unit. But before that, you need to have a strategy. Before that, you need to have a system. People ask me what comes first, strategy, systems, or teams? Strategy comes middle. Systems come first, strategy comes second, and teams come third, especially for the beginners. So I hope I have given you enough information about the staff part. Then practicing in rural areas, managing OPD is too hectic. If you're having too much of OPD, the biggest filter for you is the price. Biggest filter for you is the price. Unfortunately, we do not calculate. We do not calculate कि जहां से हमारा revenue आ रहा है हम उस चीज को nurture करें, उस चीज को बढ़ावा दें, and we decrease the trivial tasks or delete them or delegate them. But yes, we try to attempt everything ourselves. That is where the pitfall comes. Remember, systems never fail, people fail. If you have a system for everything in your practice, it is not going to fail. People who are attempting as per the system, they might fail. Then lack of patience following the appointment system. If you don't have an appointment system set up in the practice, or if you have a system, when do you communicate it to the patient? In the first sitting. फर्स्ट सेटिंग में बताने को तो बहुत कुछ हो गया, ट्रीटमेंट प्लानिंग बताओगे, क्लिनिक का सिस्टम बताओगे, चार्जेस बताओगे, कंसेंट बताओगे, क्या बताओगे? What does that mean? That means you have to break up certain tasks, especially for the medium to big ticket cases. Unless the patient has walked in an emergency situation, you need to spend time with the patient, because unless you talk it out, you communicate, you create a need, that treatment is not going to materialize. And for that, you need time, and you need effective communication skills as well. So if the patient is not aware of the system that you follow, how is the patient going to turn up on appointment? Maybe if the patient is a perennial offender, again, there are multiple ways to manage it. How I manage it, if the patient is late, we tell the patient in the first sitting itself, today you came in with most of my referral patients also, by the way, come on time, because I shifted to appointment system in 2007 end, or rather before the end only, when my daughter was born. With her birth, she brought huge amount of luck to me, and my OPD boomerang zoomed up 3 or 4 times straight away. So she is lucky for me in that sense. And I was finding it difficult. In the peak time, there were 8 patients sitting. I could treat maximum 2 or 3, but then others used to walk away. Luckily, I realized that aspect very, very soon, and I started giving an appointment system. My colleagues, my friends laughed at me. because mine is a very laid back town, industrial town, famous for hosiery and cycles, Ludhiana, Punjab, Manchester of India, known as formerly in the past. But a very laid back, most of the city is built up, filled with industrial people, businessmen people who come from factories at 11:30 or 12 in the night, have their dinner at 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and they sleep, and their kids go to school and they get up at 9:30 in the morning, and then they get ready and go to factory at 11. This is the cycle they follow in there. And when my colleague friends got to know about it, they laughed at me that you will make Ludhiana people come on appointments. And I was within a year or so. It took me a year. I won't deny that. In those times, it took me a year. In today's times, it will not take you even 2 months. I put people on that system, and till date, that system is set. And this system helped me a lot in COVID times when everything was closed. Even the referral patients that come to me come via a appointment system only. That is the way I am able to give my 100%. That is the way I am mentally prepared to deal with that patient, how to communicate with that patient. But if the patients are walking in, sitting in your waiting, you don't know how much to talk to how much. Some people don't have a segregated chamber. They have open consultation area and an open waiting area. Maybe a chamber, maybe you can say a partitioning chamber in between, a wooden or aluminum chamber. But otherwise, whatever you talk inside is audible to the person outside. Some people have a different pricing range also. They convey one price to another, and another one price to one and another price to another one. They find it difficult. They speak very slowly. They can't be in their full, you can say, motion of communication. And when you don't set an appointment system, somebody who's come up for his appointment situation, he's getting late. He'll complain. Why do you call on time? Call an appointment when you can't see it on appointment. They will crib about it. In today's time, patients have become more demanding. They don't want to wait. So you need to set into that system. But for that, you have to be punctual. I see dentists also starting at 10, 10:30 in the morning, very laid back approach. Why? Din subah 5, 5:30 chad jata din. I don't say open up your clinic at 5:30 in the morning, but 9 o'clock is a decent time to open up. Why not at 9? If you start early, you finish early. Who told you to keep working till 9 or 10 in the night? Again, I'm not pinpointing to anyone, but a generalized thing. As we discussed in the morning about the Jammu schedule and the Kalyan schedule in the morning, which I observed in my previous visits over there. So appointment system is the one which you are not following, which you are not properly doing or not properly able to set up. If you are not able to convince your patients, it is your fault. So you need to tell the patient in the first sitting, today you came without appointment, but no problem. We are attending to you. We are checking up and discussing, setting up an appointment time or maybe a discussion time for consultation. Sometimes I don't do even consultation if the patient has walked in the middle of something, because my first consultation is my only chance to put across my best view forward to the patient. And I don't want to do it in a hurry. I make them understand I have patients sitting, another patient is about to come or in the waiting. How do I even attend? If you want to just have a casual talk, finish within 2 minutes and maybe set up a time. And most of the time they also understand. It is how you convey that matters. It is not that, okay, hum to aise hi kaam karenge ji. Patient is late by 30 minutes. You are sitting free, nothing, no one is there in the waiting. You came 30 minutes late. I am not going to attend you. जा यार बहुत बैठे हैं तू क्या आकड़ दिखा रहा ज्यादा. People will say like this, or realistically tell them, ma'am, I'm really sorry, but my another patient is due in next 10 minutes. Wait, I'll call that patient if the patient has started from their house, because mostly your practice would be from the nearby areas only, initially at least. Let me check out with that patient. If that patient is running late, I'm surely going to attend you. But if that patient is on time, I'm sorry, you'll have to take up the next appointment, and then you have to come on appointment as well. Trust me, that patient will never be late even in his life. Problems, exceptions aside. And I'm not telling you just a theoretical thing. I've been doing these things since 14 years now. 14 years. It is a long time. Many of you are not even practiced for 14 years. So those are hours से system settle. Even I put it up in the 9th year of my practice. So better late than never. In today's times, it is easier to set up the system because patients understand that the dental treatment is going to take time. Then lack of decentralization. If you are the best in everything, then the first thing is get your Xerox copies done. Because that is the only way, or get your clones done. That is the way you can do it. Otherwise, you will never have a faith and trust over your colleagues or staff. Colleagues means associates, staff means your assistants. You cannot attempt everything unless you are a Superman. But yes, a Superman mode also needs to come into action when the times are not running good. Sometimes सारे staff member बीमार पड़ जाते हैं, किसी को गांव जाना पड़ता है, कोई वैसे बीमार पड़ गया. There are times you will have that. So you have to switch on your Superman mode also sometimes. But most of the times you should know how to delegate. अब वो उसके लिए थोड़ा सा एक वही ना सिस्टम बना के कौन चीज कौन अटेम्प्ट करेगा, कौन सी चीज कौन अटेम्प्ट करेगा. You have to do that. Then how to present treatment plan. अब these are not pain points. These are the basic dentistry points. If these are lacking in you, then you shouldn't have opened up the clinic because you were just not ready. You need to have a proper sequencing of a treatment plan done. Always keep the end in mind. Always keep the end in mind. I'll share a case. Yesterday, was having a discussion with a colleague. Of course, I don't reveal identities. You all know that. We were discussing about there was a fracture of inner wall or distal lingual wall of a 4-6. The patient had a root stump in 7 area also, and we were discussing about how to deal with the case and how to deal with the consent part and all that. The thing that came to mind, the patient was not ready for extraction. The consent was being taken for root canal, of course, along with a core and a crown. The number one thing that comes to your mind if it is a sublingual fracture is, why not a CLP or a DME? Then if that is done, portion is broken, you might need a post and core, not core alone. Sometimes a pre-endo build-up tells you many things. Then what are you going to do finally? You're going to place a crown. Good enough. What about the 7 root stump? Are you aware that you will be able to maintain, the patient will be able to maintain that 4-7 area with your crown? When the lab gets ample amount of space distally, are they not going to make a very, you can say, an elaborate crown, or maybe a distally little bit fat crown? Yes. Then I said, what about the 8? Is it present? Then the colleague shared, 8 is already root canal done, a core given, it is mesioangularly tilted. That sums it all. The patient came to you for 4-6, but you need to have a 4-7, 4-8 agenda in the mind and tell the patient clearly, you have come for a problem, but the cause lies somewhere else. Or maybe your problem will not be fully solved because of this reason. You may get a temporary relief from your 4-6 and a crown done, but a 7 root and a tilted 8 will derange with a deranged occlusion, which is going to cause you a problem. And us deranged occlusion ke karan there can be future chipping of the PFM crown. What will that lead to? Aapne ghatiya crown lagaya. Even if you give the best of the materials, even if you give a tie light or a laser PFM crown, they'll always blame you that nahi, aapne bahut ghatiya crown lagaya, paise itne le liye. What does that cause? Resentment, lack of loss of patient. So always keep a holistic picture in mind. ये मत सोचो patient किसके लिए आया है. But then keeping an end in mind is one aspect. Overdoing is another thing, which I always explain. Patient came to you for a root canal in 3-6. इधर 4-5, 4-6 missing. इधर access opening किया, pain relief हुआ. 4-5, 4-6 को pitch करना शुरू कर दिया. यहाँ implant लगवा लो, यहाँ implant लगवा लो, implant लगवा लो. Why? Let the patient be satisfied and come back to you. The 3 E's: efficiently, efficaciously, and effectively. Remember those things. If you are not presenting a holistic plan, so that means you are not good in your work. It is not about how skillful you are with your hand. You have to skillful with your brain first. That is the reason I tell, make a plan, sleep over it, or write it down and then sleep over it, then convey to the patient. Because in that sleep over thing, you will encounter a certain mistakes because your subconscious brain is working at that point of time. It'll tell you what mistakes you are doing, whether you need to revisit your treatment plan. People make treatment plans in 1 minute or so, convey it, then walk the path, and then in the middle of that path realize, oh yaar, ye to aise kehna tha, aise karna tha. We were not supposed to do this way. Then they try making up stories, then the budget increases, the billing increases, sittings increases, everything comes to a naught. प्रॉब्लम कहां थी? स्टार्ट करने में. हवा में ट्रीटमेंट प्लान बना दिया 1 मिनट में. Don't do that. That is where consent helps you. It naturally puts a break in your treatment. It makes you not start the treatment in the second, before the second or the third sitting. It makes you do that. So if you are not executed here first, then you have to execute with the hand. Of course, between these two steps, the patient acceptance and consent has to be there. If the patient consent is there, everything comes to a naught. If the patient says, मेरे को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है 4-8 से 4-7 से, मेरा सिर्फ 4-6 का रूट कनाल कर दो और वो कर दो. वो ऐसा पेशेंट जो है जिसका दांत फ्रैक्चर है, वो पोस्ट एंड कोर के लिए भी नहीं मानेगा. बोलेगा रूट कनाल करो, कोर करो, क्राउन दे दो, बात खत्म. Then you have to put in this thing in the consent itself. Everything was explained about the pitfalls of not getting the 7 removed and not getting the 8 in proper occlusion, which is going to cause a bone loss, of course, and going to cause further derangement of occlusion, maybe partial, maybe can cause a chipping of the crown as well. Mention all these aspects. We mention it, of course, where the patient does not go according to our plans. Because 6 महीने बाद अगर ये हो गया ना, तो पेशेंट आके एक ही चीज बोलनी है आपको, आपने मेरे को बताया नहीं. Sir, I told you. The verbal things are forgotten. Written things are not. Along with the witness to witness, it is not. And the patient knows, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, this is not the right way. You say it verbally and you get it signed. There are two different things in that. If you do it in that sense, convey it, the patient is never going to blame you. And isn't it one of the common reasons patient आते हैं, we have to deal with the anger management issues also. Patient आया, patient ने हल्ला कर दिया, मेरे को ऐसे कर दिया, मेरे को धमकी दे गया, मेरे से पैसे रिफंड मांग लिए. All these things happen because you don't do paperwork. पेपरवर्क क्यों नहीं करते? पेशेंट साइन नहीं करते हैं. पेशेंट क्यों नहीं साइन करते हैं? कर्नाटका स्टेट डेंटल काउंसिल ने नियम बना दिया था. नॉट नाउ, नॉट नाउ. 5 सितंबर 2019, 3 साल हो गए, almost 3 years. State Dental Council has, you can say, recommended all the consumers or the patients to get us consent form signed. Karnataka State Dental Council is the best dental council in India. I would say that openly. जितनी आगे वो चलते हैं, उनके कॉलेजेस तो चलते ही हैं इंडिया में सबसे आगे, बट जितनी आगे वो चलते हैं ना हर काउंसिल की गवर्नेंस के मामले में, no other council even comes even a distant second also. They are far distant second. KSDC. I am not from Karnataka, I am from Punjab. कर्नाटका की देख के मैंने अपने पंजाब के कलीग्स को बोला था, get it done. 4 or 5 of them are in the top 6 slots. None of them paid a heed. उनके अपने मसले नहीं खत्म होते. So we need to understand where are the loose screws in your ship. If you don't tighten them, you will keep on doing firefighting only. आज ये प्रॉब्लम, आज ये प्रॉब्लम, आज पेशेंट आके लड़ गया, आज उसने ये कर दिया, आज स्टाफ ने ड्रामा कर दिया, इधर वर्कलोड ज्यादा, उधर स्टाफ के नखरे ही खत्म हो रहे. You can't manage staff, you can't manage patient, you can't manage your treatment planning, you can't manage yourself, you can't manage expenses, you don't have a proper system of income flowing in. At the end of the day, you're doing only one thing, firefighting. And firefighting leads to what? Dissatisfaction, unhappiness, less carry home income. Ultimately, dentistry ganda profession है, घटिया profession है. We come across such a beautiful profession is blamed by so many of us. Why? We need to ask ourselves. The fault lies with us first, not in the profession. If we don't, yes, it is our education system is broken. We are not taught management, we are not taught documentation, we are not taught finances. और क्लिनिक खोलने से पहले इन चीजों की नॉलेज होना बहुत जरूरी है, especially in today's demanding times. If we don't have a knowledge, on top of that, we are still doing a GV black dentistry. With due apologies, we are still doing GV black dentistry in colleges. But outside world has changed drastically. Outside world has changed drastically. We are no longer doing the same dentistry what we were taught in college. At least I don't remember that what I was doing in the college in one way, I'm doing the same thing now. And I graduated in 1998, 25 years back, almost 25 years back. So we need to understand, where does the fault lie? It is in the system, but it is equally in us also. We blame we don't have the money. As I said, in the marketing thing, nature's law. Nature's law is you sow first, then you reap. हमारा उल्टा, पहले मैं कमा लूं फिर मैं पैसे लगाऊंगा. It doesn't work that way. मार्केटिंग में टाइम और एफर्ट तो लगा सकते हो ना, पैसे तो डालने को मैं बोल भी नहीं रहा आपको. Then taking a lot of time to develop skills to run a dental setup independently. Money loves speed. अगर आपको फास्ट पैसा कमाना है तो कार को टॉल वाली रोड पे निकालो. टॉल वाली रोड पे आपको टॉल देना पड़ेगा, बट यू गेट अ एक्सप्रेस हाईवे. यू कैन सेव अ टॉल, साइड से निकालो, गांव से निकलते निकलते पहुंच जाओगे, but you will get delayed, you will burn more petrol, your car suspension might come again, repeatedly going from that way, your car suspension might get loosened up, your axles might touch anything, maybe the village road might not be up to the mark, you may save a buck or two, but in the long run you are losing. So none of us has those skills, but if we believe that hum log seekh jayenge, yes, you can learn it by doing it, but what you waste in that is the precious amount of time. You can learn from someone who has done it and put yourself on the expressway. So if you are taking a lot of time to develop those skills, other than the clinical or the non-clinical, you are doing yourself a disfavor. Then the common inquiry, phone inquiry. Phone pe rate batana, nahi batana, it depends upon your system. I don't divulge on phone. I don't divulge on phone. People who are, कोई लोग होते हैं ना बहुत pressing, नहीं थोड़ा सा बता दो, थोड़ा सा range दे दो. I give them a range. How much you charge for a PFM crown? Sir, it is 4,000 to 10,000. अरे इतना? उसमें क्या फर्क है? सर आपने range बताया, बाकी details clinic में आइए, pay my consultation fee, please get all the details from me. If that is a window patient, they will never turn up. And I really don't want them also. Bye bye, Mr. 28. If you remember from morning, what is 28? An ideal conversion ratio is 72. So means if 100 patients walk in through your door, 72 are your patients, 28 are not. So such patients, I always call bye bye, Mr. 28. So remember the nature's law, don't break it. Then patients send you many referrals, but eventually for their own treatment, they need heavy discount. जैसे मैं आपको इतने पेशेंट भेजता हूं, अब यहां पे इनसिक्योरिटी आपको होती है. I might lose that patient if I don't give a discount to that patient. Patient is trying a trick. As I told you about the colleague also in the morning, the patients try their trick and you fall a prey to that. The patient has chosen you or sent you referrals because you work well. Give yourself a pat on the back like this. Do it. Give yourself a pat on the back that you work well. That is why you have been given a good referral. So that patient is never going to leave you unless you drop your standards down. If you keep your standards up, be wary of leaving even a single rupee to them. Give them something in kind. कोई sample आया, कोई brush आया, paste आया, mouthwash आया, वो दे दो. उनको clearly बोलो, सर आप मेरे को पास आते हो because you need treatment from me. You get a good treatment from me. If you want if you want me to compromise on any kind of treatment, which I will hate to and I will never do, then you can't, then you can pay me less. But if you don't want, please don't do it. Say it politely, say it in a controlled manner. The patient will never even ask second time to you for the discount. Never even your old patients, even those patients who send you many referrals, they will also never ask for you. It is our own insecurities कि यार ये इतने पेशेंट भेजता है, खुद भी आना बंद कर देगा, रेफरल भी भेज देगा, बंद कर देगा, चलो दे दो यार इसको डिस्काउंट. We fall prey to that. That is where we need to understand we are committing a mistake. Then lesser conversion ratio, OPD to actual treatment. We discuss this detail in the morning. If somebody is having a ratio of 4 to 6, 4 is the bottom cutoff point, I would say. If someone is having a ratio less than 4, then really need to look at it. If you are having in middle range or lesser than that, 55 to 60, 50 to 60 even, you're doing decently good enough. Decently good enough. You can increase, you have a scope for improvement. And if you're doing between 40 to 45, 50, less than 50, you need to pull up your socks. Means there is some mistake in your communication skills. The way you talk does not appeal to the patient. I'll tell you a simple trick in this. Those people who are not very confident of their speech, they can do one thing. They can have their before and after as a guard with them. They can have their before and after as a guard with them. That is only going to help them a lot. If that does not, you can say, serve a purpose, then practice role reversal, role rehearsal. That is the best thing you can do. Those who have a spouse dentist, they can do a role rehearsal or role reversal, sorry. The role rehearsal can be done with the staff becoming a patient and you practicing the same. How would the patient counter you, or how would you talk to the patient? This is one way of dealing with the situation. But if there is lesser conversion ratio, it surely is not only because of price. If you're commanding a higher price, you need to give a value for that also. And value comes in multiple formats. Value does not come only in a discount format. So remember that part. Then struggling with patients to convince them about basic procedures like scaling, extraction, fillings in children, which patient feel is not necessary as it does not pain. जब बच्चों का मुंह सूजता है ना तो बहुत सिवियर सूजता है, और पेन होता है तो बहुत सिवियर होता है. Even with a little amount of pain, the kids get panicky. So tell them, if you don't love your child, please don't get the treatment done. ये दूध का दाना निकलेगा, लेकिन ये 5 साल बाद निकलेगा. ये आया दान 3 साल पे है, अभी बच्चा आपका 2.5 साल पे आया है, अभी बच्चा आपका 5 साल का है. तो ये 2.5 साल में यहां तक पहुंच गए टूथ, D और E of course. And this has to shed at 9.5 or so. Add 6 months more. 9.5. 2-2.5 साल मेंटेन नहीं कर पाए आप, 4-5 साल और मेंटेन कर लोगे आप. If you can do that, good luck to you. But if you really love your child and don't want to see your child in pain, get it done. Hurt it where it hurts the most. That is the emotional angle. And you are not doing anything wrong. You are not doing anything wrong. That tooth might burst. That might cause a severe pain. Of course, it might fracture also and it may not cause any pain. But eventually, if it causes a fracture of the root or even a decay of the root, that may affect the permanent tooth as well. There are chances. May cause a migration, may cause a wrong place eruption as well. There are multiple reasons that are possible depending upon situation to situation. But you should be aware of that and you should be able to convey the patient of that. सिर्फ हर चीज को कैंसर बना के डराने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. I don't use this word in clinic. पता नहीं अब कैसे बोल दिया मैंने. I even use the word patients कहते हैं ना, दांतों की जो आपने सबसे भयंकर चीज सुनी है ना, I talk about that. I don't even pronounce the full word C, which I just said. Colleagues sell everything like C. करवा लो नहीं तो ये C हो जाएगा. पेशेंट कहेगा मेरे C नहीं लिखा सिर पे. Understand that. They have a Google as their companion. They have Google as their companion. Who is their friend in need? You say a thing. You say a thing to patient. Patient का बच्चा बाहर बैठा Google कर रहा होगा phone पे. Especially if you have an open chamber for consultation, or you just have a dividing wall in between, which is not soundproof. Many times this happens. Then around 15 years of practice, still I do not have a good conversion ratio of big ticket patients. That means you do not know what is your target group. You have not created need enough. You have not created your space enough to have command a place that you can handle big cases. That means there is some fault at your end also. It is not about the cost part. Somebody who's to get expensive treatment done, why would he risk you? If you are not appearing confident on your skills part or your selling part, understand that part. Patients do not really appreciate genuine ethical practice. What is ethical? What is generic? Who differentiates that? You. How? By creating awareness, by spending some time with the patient, by creating a need. We start the procedure. बाद में इतने पैसे थोड़ा बनते हैं. पिछली बार इतने दिए थे, इतने मैंने आपको पहले बताया था 1000 रुपए लगेगा, अब आप 800 क्यों दे रहे हो? And all that brickbat starts. Patient दो वेटिंग में बैठे होते हैं, ये डॉक्टर झगड़ालू है. All the impression goes away. What is the hurry to start, guys? What is the hurry to start in the first sitting? दिमाग से सोचो, थोड़ा सा सोच के देखो. Monetization of dental skills. Nobody teaches that, of course. You have to learn it yourself. But to learn that, you need to have that mindset of an entrepreneur first. As I said in the morning, जो 10 साल 12 साल सैलरी जॉब कर गया, उसका entrepreneur mindset बनना बहुत मुश्किल है. Not impossible, but बहुत मुश्किल है. So nobody teaches us DMF. This is the reason I have launched PhD today, to bridge that gap. अब मैं सारे के सारे कॉलेजेस जा नहीं सकता, ना मुझे किसी कॉलेज ने आज तक बुलाया फ्रैंकली, एक कॉलेज को छोड़ के. एक ही कॉलेज में मैंने लेक्चर दिया, और rather two, one in Gujarat, one in my own town. So I given lecture only in 2 colleges, more than 330 plus colleges. मैं रोज का भी एक करूं तो साल में भी नहीं निपटेंगे. अगर मैं 52 संडेज छोड़ दूं ना, ट्रैवलिंग टाइम बीच में ले लूं कि सेम डे ट्रैवल कर लूं, then even I can't. Then एक दिन में what do I give them? Almost nothing. So this is practically not possible. I can't create my clones for DMF thing. So I launched it at a platform where many people can learn. There is no limit to that. But the only thing is you should have the willingness to learn. Have to be a LLL, lifelong learner. मैं इस वक्त भी 9 masterminds के साथ associated हूँ. I'm studying further. मैं जो paid workshops करता हूँ ना, they are only done to fund my higher education, which I am doing. I don't do it for money. I'm earning good enough, more than good enough from my clinic. But I don't want to compromise on my clinic money by being selfish about it and contributing it to my education. Of course, I can afford it. Even with the passive income flowing in, I can afford it too, but I don't want to. So this is the reason I do workshops. I don't do every month. That is the reason I do it once in 6 months. There are separate reasons for doing everything that I do. Everything does not come down to money after 20 years of practice. After 20 years of good practice, or even 10 years of good practice, money becomes a byproduct. You do good work, money will automatically flow in. If you do bad work, you will do cribbing and complaining only about this. So who all are willing to be LLL? Lifelong learners. Type LLL in the chat box. Good to see that. Good to see that. Then lack of consistency, due to which I have less footfall of patients. See, the question contains the answer itself, which I just told you in the marketing efforts also, in the awareness exercise also. You have less footfalls because you have lack of consistency. You have to do networking offline also consistently. You have to do an online thing, organic stuff, free time ka effort consistently. Coming from a female, my husband is always supportive, but I feel I'm not earning enough for my qualification. Setup is in good location. Neighborhood is quite well educated. All are working professionals. But when it comes to hygiene, people are less aware, and I need a lot of efforts to maintain a steady flow of patients. Lead generation, we talked about in the morning. सारा टंटा ही पेशेंट फ्लो का है, majority लोगों का. हम बैठे रहते हैं, पेशेंट आता ही नहीं है. लैब वाले से पूछेंगे कैसा चल रहा है, वो भी आगे से चंट होते हैं. बाकी जगह तो ठीक चल रहा है, सिर्फ आपके पास ही कम है. और जब आपके पास काम आएगा, आपके पास ही काम है, बाकी सब वेले बैठे हैं. They are very smart people. They'll do all these things, these sort of things. So you need to maintain a good amount of leads, a good flow of leads, and for that you need a consistent effort, consistent validating effort. So मैं जब कहता हूँ patient से feedback लो, I tell you that for a reason. Of course, you might find all these chains joining together. This is for a reason. Then don't know what to market and how to. So started with pamphlet, did not work well. Thought to online marketing, got website, but since 1 year did not update. Don't know what all should be there in website. What is lacking? The knowledge, the attitude, the skill, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं ask. Attitude, skill and knowledge. If ask is missing, as I said, you don't need to DIY yourself everything. You don't need to do everything yourself. Do it yourself. नहीं, बहुत चीजें delegate करनी है. But an entrepreneur needs to know everything so that you can know which screw is to be turned when, which screw is loosened. वो नहीं पता होगा तो कैसे करेंगे? सुबह आपको मैंने एग्जांपल दी थी विक्स की, डॉरिक की, बहुत सारे साइट्स की जिसपे आप खुद वेबसाइट बना सकते हैं. डोमेन खरीदो 500-1000 रुपए में, अपना अच्छा डोमेन लोगे तो 1000 का मिलेगा. कॉमन जो होगा, नॉर्मल डोमेन आपको फर्स्ट ईयर का 99 में भी मिल जाएगा. बिग रॉक, गो डैडी, मेडविन, बहुत सारे साइट्स हैं. गो एंड सर्च इट, यू विल फाइंड इट. नेम चीप, फाइंड अ डोमेन व्हिच सूट्स यू. एज आई सेड, डिजिटल फुटप्रिंट सारे सेम नाम पे होने चाहिए. दैट कंसिस्टेंसी हैज टू बी देयर. I remember one of my cousins' name is Abjeet. He's a DNB in anesthesia. So I said, यार Abjeet बड़ा common name है. जैसे मेरा, my name was not that common when Google came in. It's still not very common name, Bhavdeep. I thank my parents for that. They've kept a very uncommon name for me. So I said, तेरा नाम तेरे को मिल गया Google का sign in ID? Abjeet तो common नाम है थोड़ा सा, not very common but still a common name. कहते मैंने ड्रबजीत लिखा ना, अगर ड्रबजीत है डॉक्टर अभिजीत, तो ड्रबजीत कहता ड्रबजीत नहीं होता ना किसी का नाम. So that is the way things work out. So you have a digital footprint जहाँ पे आपको आपका have a simplified name which is identifiable. It need not be a clinic name always. It need not be your own name always. But the digital footprint should be in consistent name so that there is a recognition factor. There is a similar name factor. So pamphlets, offline, online, paid, organic, everything will work. जिस दिन किस्मत अच्छी होगी सब काम करेगा. जिस दिन होगा वो एक नॉर्मल सा वीडियो भी आपका वायरल हो जाएगा जब किस्मत अच्छी होगी. Then gain some knowledge and did something. Thought of social media marketing, hired an agency, but cost to revenue ratio is 5:1. Didn't I tell you the CPL, cost per lead? Burnt hands with Google ads as well, wasted 60K. Now everything is falling into place. What I've been telling you since morning, this is the thing that happens. Agency ने क्या करना है? I gave an example in my previous workshop also. My area dentist, an orthodontist, her ad was there on my YouTube channel. An ad on my YouTube channel, the normal written one ad, banner type ad, I mean. So it is being shown to a person who's never going to use her services. Who's never going to use her services. Remember that. So what is that? Wrong targeting. What is that? Wrong agency. Don't know what people are doing. The marketing people. Of course, you trusted them. You just gave them the money. You said, I don't have knowledge. Please take my money. Give me leads. 1 month, 2 months, you'll burn some money. Ultimately do that. I told you what is the range? 1,000 rupees. Ideal. Perfect per day. Of course, not many can allocate 30,000 per month. But somebody asked me about the budget in the morning, so I'm telling it. Then people doesn't know even we exist, even though there was clinic for 5 years before we took an additional of 1.5 year. 5 साल से कोई और बैठा था, 1.5 साल से ये बैठे हैं, 6.5 साल से बैठे हैं. Lack of visibility. What is it going to give you? Offline and online efforts. Visibility. Marketing is nothing but just being more visible in patient's mind. Then no patience in patients. Bad habits are there for many years, but expect instant results from dentists. Same about relatives. Engineers have packages in lakhs. Everyone is earning and we are sitting only in OPDs. यही तो problem है. You are sitting only in OPDs. यही मैंने बोला है कि sit नहीं करना है. You don't have to keep sitting in OPDs waiting for भगवान के नाम पे दे दे. Don't do that. Make your own effort. Make your own effort. It has to come from you first. नहीं तो स्टाफ भी हंसेगा. साहब के पास पेशेंट है नहीं, हुक्म हमारे पे ऐसे चलाते, पता नहीं क्या होगा. They also forget कि इसी हिसाब से इसी जितने भी पेशेंट करके आपने सैलरी लेनी. Then did not give importance to digital marketing, so trying to cope up with it now. If you have learned these things before, what you cut down is the precious time. Money loves speed. You can get on the expressway, tollway, as I told you. How to handle marketing? ये pain point नहीं है, questions ही शुरू हो गए थे. Still put up it up. Of course, I've told you enough. Mainly where to invest for social media marketing or digital marketing. I think I've covered that up fully. How to do marketing for satisfied patient for long time. To satisfy patient होगा शायद, if I'm not wrong. To satisfy patient for long time. The simple answer is good work ethics. That's it. Good work ethics. We need to understand good work ethics are the only thing that are going to pay you in the long run. I'm a big fan of Akshay Kumar, by the way. Amir Khan might be perfectionist. Again, boycott thing and everything aside, both of them had a movie release. Amir Khan released one in 4 years. Of course, this was supposed to be released in Christmas 2020. 1.5 साल late हो गई, approximately 1.5 साल. So rather more than 1.5 year. So late हो गई. 4 साल बाद उसकी पिक्चर आई. 4 साल पहले भी डब्बा ही आया था, Thugs of Hindustan. Anyways, he might be perfectionist, he might be putting in 100% effort, he might be taking time, but what impresses me about Akshay is his work ethics. कोई मूवी उसकी चल जाती है ना, इस साल नहीं चली, 2 पिक्चरें उसकी जो आई हैं, forget it. चल जाती है ना, अगला कहता है अगर पिक्चर की सक्सेस पार्टी भी करनी है दोपहर को कर लो. If you want to involve me. Otherwise, मैं parties late night attend नहीं करूंगा. I will sleep at 9:30 in the night because I have to get up at 4 in the morning. That is one thing I love about him. उसकी पिक्चर 40 दिन से 60 दिन का शेड्यूल होता है. कहते हैं आप इतनी पिक्चर क्यों करते हो? कहते हैं 2 घंटे की पिक्चर होती है, 120 मिनट की. एक दिन में हम 2 या 2.5 मिनट की शूटिंग नहीं कर सकते क्या? सोच के देखो, 8 घंटे की शिफ्ट में आप 2-2.5 मिनट की शूटिंग नहीं कर सकते. जितना मर्जी आपने सेटअप करना है, सारा करना, लाइट लगानी है, 2-2.5 मिनट कुछ नहीं है. What does it tend to say through it? I'm not doing a Bollywood publicity over here. What I mean to tell you is, he says, small consistent effort each day of 2.5 minutes. At the end of 40 days, 50 days, you'll have a movie ready. उसके बाद टेबल पे जितना मर्जी टाइम लगाओ, मेरा टाइम खत्म, मैं अगले प्रोजेक्ट पे मूव ऑन करूं. And he has been following this since 15 years now. Of course, he is there in the industry since the 1991. खिलाड़ी आई थी जब, और उससे पहले कोई और भी आई थी शायद, तो मैं भूल गया नाम उसका. तो but he has followed this policy since 15 years plus. And हर साल उसकी 4 या 5 पिक्चरें आती हैं. By this philosophy only. ठीक है, कुछ चलती है नहीं चलती है, hit or flop is not our thing. But what I am telling you is the work ethics involved in this. Don't go into Bollywood, don't go into hit or flop. वो हिट है तभी वो 15 साल 30 साल से एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है इंडस्ट्री में. 33 years he is existing. He is the fittest of all at 50 plus. All of them are 50 plus now. All the Khans and the Hritiks and the Devgans and the, you can say, Akshays, all of them are 50 plus. He is the fittest of all of them. Simple work ethics. So if you want to satisfy patient for long, no marketing needed. Good work ethics. Don't let your guard down. Don't drop your standards. That's it. Keep sticking to the template that gives you success. That is one thing very important. How to convey patient about our strength? ये आया क्वेश्चन काम का. कंसल्टेशन, कम्युनिकेशन. पेशेंट से बात ही नहीं करोगे तो उसको पता कैसे लगेगा कि आपकी स्ट्रेंथ क्या है? बात करने से ही बात बनती है. बातों बातों में बातें निकलती हैं. This is the way things work. How things work. You are doing a crown and bridge, you are doing everything, suddenly a discussion for implant comes up. You convey it silently. Yes, we do implants also. The patient has already been impressed by your work ethics. He may not get it done, but he may send you a referral that his work ethics is very good. I saw his implant case also. He works well. He becomes your BA, brand ambassadors, patient. मैंने अपने स्टाफ वाले सेशन में भी बोला था, एक मार्केटिंग वाले सेशन में भी बोला था. We all have 4 kinds of customers. We all can categorize all patients into 4 kinds of customers. A, B, C, D. Amazing customers which we all love to have. Pay on time, come on time, agree on time, everything perfect. Breadwinning customers. Routine jobs, root canals, simple crowns, simple extractions, restorations, chota kaam, chota dam, छुट्टी. C are convenience patients. आपकी दुकान का रेट ज्यादा है, आपकी दुकान ये है, उनको सूट करेगा तो आएंगे, उनको सूट करेगा तो नहीं आएंगे. And D are dangerous patients. We don't want CD patients, we want AB patients, all of us. And that is where targeting has to be done in such a manner. We want our AB patients to become our BA patients. Our amazing and breadwinning patients to become our brand ambassador patients. This is what we want. And remember one line which I told you half an hour back. Your customer is a reflection of your abilities. अगर पेशेंट आपसे बार्गेनिंग करता है तो आस्क योरसेल्फ इन द मिरर, डू यू डू दैट आल्सो इन योर पर्सनल लाइफ विद अ सब्जी वाला, विद अ करियाना वाला, और विद एनीवन? डू यू डू दैट आल्सो? एज अ इंडियन वी आर ऑल फॉन्ड ऑफ डूइंग बार्गेनिंग, बट लीचर्ड पेशेंट टाइप बार्गेनिंग, डू यू डू आल्सो इन योर पर्सनल लाइफ? इफ द आंसर इज yes, then I told you one more line in the morning, your vibe attracts your tribe. So your customer is a reflection of your abilities and your vibe attracts your tribe. Remember these 2 lines. So patients hesitate to go for better, costlier treatment options because they don't find the confidence in your eyes. Because they don't find the confidence in your eyes, how you convey. जैसे डॉक्टर ने खुद ही, आप इम्प्लांट करते हो? हाँ करते हैं, हाँ करते. कितने केसेस किए आपने? बहुत सारे किए केसेस हमने. आप कितना चार्ज करते हो इम्प्लांट का? आंटी आप पुराने पेशेंट जो मर्जी दे देना. One thing which is not conveyed in these 3 answers is the clarity mindset. हमारे मन में लड्डू फूटा अप्रोच आ चुकी है. कैडबरी की ऐड आती है ना, मन में लड्डू फूटा, तो मन में लड्डू फूटा अप्रोच आ चुकी है. किसी ने इम्प्लांट का पूछा तो सही यार, मैं तो 1.5 साल से लेके बैठा हूं. मैंने कोर्स उससे किया था, 7 days 7 इम्प्लांट किया था डॉक्टर कोमल से. मैं 1.5 साल से किट लेके बैठा हूं, मेरे पास एक पेशेंट नहीं आया. ऊपर से कोविड ने मेरा बर्बाद कर दिया सारा काम. उससे पहले कितनी इंक्वायरीज थी साल में? Where does the money come from? किट किराए पे लाके किया. तो अगर आपको क्लैरिटी नहीं है, उससे पहले आपको क्या नहीं थी? कॉम्पिटेंसी. पहले चाहिए होती क्लैरिटी, देन कॉम्पिटेंसी. आपने कॉम्पिटेंसी पहले आई, अब आप क्लैरिटी ढूंढ रहे हो हाउ टू गिव इट टू पेशेंट, बिकॉज दैट कॉम्पिटेंसी सीम्स हेवायर. पिछले 1.5 साल से किट पड़ी है, ट्रेनिंग ली हुई है, लेकिन इम्प्लांट एक भी नहीं डाल पाए. व्हाटएवर रीजन, इन पेशेंट नहीं आया, कोविड आया, बीमार हो गए, फंक्शन आ गए, व्हाटएवर रीजन नहीं डाल पाए, या सिर्फ 2 या 3 डाल पाए 1.5 साल में. यार कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है. मैंने सोचा था जब पेशेंट इम्प्लांट का आएगा ना, तो जिसने मेरे साथ ली थी ना ट्रेनिंग, मेरा फ्रेंड, मैं उसको बुला लूंगा साथ में. दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ माइंडसेट वी हैव sometimes for some things. I'm not saying it is a wrong thing, but develop a clarity first, develop a competency first, then have the courage to convey that first. If you have all the C's together, you can cut money through this. It is as simple as that. I hate endo work. मत करो. Is it a pain point? मत करो. because endo is called as the bread and the butter of dentistry. How can I cannot do it. मेरी शादी हो चुकी है लेकिन मुझे उस लड़की से प्यार है या नहीं है, मुझे बाजू वाली से प्यार है. Is that an answer? I hate endo work. Delegate it to someone if you don't like it. You don't necessarily need to love it. You don't necessarily need to love it. But this is not your pain point. This is not your pain point. I can't find good lab in my city for removal processes. तो outsource कर दो. आपके शहर से बाहर कोरियर नहीं जाता, कि स्पीड पोस्ट नहीं जाती. Is this a pain point? Then internet derived information obstructing treatment syndrome, idiot syndrome. We all are wary of this syndrome. We don't want this syndrome. But then we all fall prey to it. That is where the problem comes. Then after detailing of treatment plan, patient opt another clinic with same plan and less charges. How do you know the patient had a same plan? The doctor might have given a different plan. How do you know the total charges were less? All assumptions. Maybe sometimes you can know the exact thing as I said in the morning, but usually no. All assumptions. Patient नहीं आया तो अपने आप से assume कर लो, treatment भी वही कराया होगा जो हमने बोल दिया. Just because you recommended a treatment plan, it does not mean that was a perfect plan. Maybe the other doctor suggested something better than you, which appealed to the patient and which was actually a good plan, better than yours. How do you say it is the same plan and less charges? Ask yourself. Lack of interest in treatment, delaying the same. If the patient is doing that, that means you have not created the need long enough in the patient's mind. Patients don't understand the value of treatment. They just think we are here to sell material, cement, silver, composite. तो भाई साहब कौन बताएगा वैल्यू पेशेंट को? मैं कि आप? Of course आप. मेरे क्लिनिक पे मैं, आपके क्लिनिक में आप. इंफॉर्मेशन, एजुकेशन, अवेयरनेस जब बोलते हैं वो सिर्फ सुनने के लिए, लिखने के लिए होता है, अमल में लाने के लिए नहीं होता है. This is to be taken. Patient need to be told the value. No proper timings for follow-up. For RCT, many patients don't come after opening as pain stops. Your fault, primarily I would say, because you did not tell the patient in detail. अब वो पेशेंट अगली बारी आएगा, आपने एक अमाउंट कमिट किया हुआ है कि 3,000 में, 2,000 में, 4,000 में, whatever amount you charge for a root canal, वो 6 महीने बाद आएगा, he'll make a excuse which you can't deny. मेरे इस तरह एक्सीडेंट हो गया था, मेरा ये हो गया था, वो हो गया था, kind of a reason which you can't verify, which you can't confirm. So you will say, and he will demand the same treatment done in the same costing, and you will feel यार फिर से दोबारा काम करना पड़ रहा है, बल्कि री-इन्फेक्शन हो गया है, I should have charged him more. मेरे को उसी में करना पड़ रहा है. Who will save you? Your consent form with all the T&C written in there. हम लोग लिखते हैं टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन. रूट कनाल हुई तो इतनी डेज में कंप्लीट करना है हमको. नहीं करोगे तो द चार्जेस विल बी रिपीटेड अगेन. री इन्फेक्शन हुई तो ज्यादा चार्जेस होंगे. All these are terms and conditions. Your SOPs. Who will tell? You will tell to the patient. When will you tell? When you sign the consent. When will you do that? Second or third sitting. What do you do? Start the treatment in the first sitting. Chain khud bana lo, what I'm saying since morning. No scope for implants, flap surgery, laser, laminate, veneer. This was a query from someone sitting in a tier 3 city. सुबह मैंने आशीष करवे की एग्जांपल दी. A village, he doesn't do implants, but his clinic does implants. Who comes? Amol comes from Pune. Amol Thorat. Again, a good friend. So Amol comes from Pune, does implants and goes away. That is the way. Implants are still done in that Neral village. Don't give that excuse. If you have not created awareness enough in your community, सिर्फ पेशेंट की वेट कर रहे हो अपनी गुड लक पे रिलाई करते हुए, patients are not going to come in. Remember that. Patients get impatient in the middle of long-term treatment. सारा treatment detailing, costing, scheduling. Make here, write first, sleep over it, convey it, get a consent, proceed onwards. This is the way to go. बेटा खर्चा कितना आएगा? आंटी बैठो मैं देख लूंगा. बेटा आपने तो बहुत बिल बना दिया, 90,000 मैं कैसे दे पाऊंगी? आंटी इतना तो लगता ही है, डेंटल ट्रीटमेंट आपको पता ही है महंगा है। बेटा बताना तो चाहिए था, मैं आपसे कितनी बार पूछा मेरे को एस्टिमेट दो। नहीं आंटी इतना तो लगेगा लगेगा। क्रिएट अ बैड ब्लड। बेटे मेरे पास तो 30,000 ही है, मेरे को तो लगा 20-30 में हो जाएगा, मैं तो फिर भी 30 दे रही हूँ, मैं कहाँ से दूंगी। नहीं आंटी इतना तो आपको देना पड़ेगा। क्या करोगे, क्राउन वापस निकाल लोगे कि इम्प्लांट वापस निकाल लोगे? क्यों, आंटी ने पूछा तो आपने बताया नहीं। So it's not only about the long-term treatment, it's about the long-term cost as well. Then similar way, chair side working hours too much. Patient is not conveyed the, you can say the same thing, that this is the amount of time this is going to take. Lot of patients argue with assistant staff regarding price and appointment schedule. They try to come at their convenience, not bothering about doctor. We too have family. Yes, you have family, but who will convey your way of working? You or your staff? You. But then why do you leave the price and the scheduling part to them? You should decide if you are going to treat them. If the associate and the assistant are just going to be the helpers in that task, they should not be delving this thing. Payment receive करने का काम उनको दे दो, but don't do these conveying of the treatment planning, appointment scheduling, and the payment part should be up to you. You are the CEO, you are the boss of your clinic. If you are not conveying, who will convey? Sorry, the process head needs a refining in your case. Then influence people keep on calling us. My personal man at your clinic, please see him and do best treatment and concessions to them. Influential people like IAS people, like politicians, usually, I mean, or the local, you can say the local big shots, not using the wrong word, but the local big shots, probably them. The simple reason, documentation saves everyone. This is documentation wherein the charges are written. This is the treatment. We have the lesser options also. You want lesser options, whatever you wish to get it done. Keep a margin for that. If you know that that guy is going to trouble you with the discount part, mention on the higher side first. कि उसने डिस्काउंट लेना तो पहले आप डिस्काउंट डाल के प्राइस बोल दो उसको, ऐसे लोगों को जिन्होंने फोन पे काम करना है, बोल दो. Don't make consent an exception even for relatives. Influential तो बहुत दूर की बात है, relatives के लिए भी नहीं छोड़ना as a exception, as an exception. They also have to sign it. No exceptions, especially medium to big ticket cases. उसमें costing अपने आप आ जाएगी, with witness आएगा, सारा कुछ आएगा. This is the way we do things. क्या होगा, आपका प्राइस सुन के, आपका प्रोटोकॉल सुन के, आपका सारा सिस्टम देख के वो कहेगा ना, ये डॉक्टर यार उल्टे काम में फंसाता, मैं तो काम ठीक कराने आया था, बाबूजी ने भेजा था मुझे, तो मैंने नहीं कराना यहाँ पे, महंगा भी है, पैसे उन्होंने थोड़ा देने हैं, पैसे तो मुझे देने पड़ेंगे. हिल स्किप ऑफ, आपकी सिरदर्दी हटी. आप काम करो, देन वेट की पेमेंट कितनी आएगी, कब आएगी, ना आएगी, डिस्काउंट पे आएगी, बाबूजी की मर्जी पे आएगी, बिग शॉट्स के रहम करम पे आएगी, उससे अच्छा छोड़ दो. आंसर इज बाय बाय मिस्टर 28. दैट इज द सिंपल आंसर. Then patients often want to avoid treatment for their child. ये दांत तो जल्दी गिर जाएगा. I already answered that in part of milk teeth earlier. Even though pediatric endodontic and restorative treatment is comparable to adult treatment, we are expected to charge less as it is a milk tooth. I don't think the effort is the same. I don't think the armamentarium and the inventory is the same. It is a lot less. You don't want to charge less. It is your choice. Ideally, milk teeth have a lesser cost comparatively. I charge lesser in my clinic. You are free to do it whatever you want in your clinic. I'm not no one to guide you on your treatment plan because you know your costs. But the effort, armamentarium and everything is not the same. But if you want to charge the same, convey it first. Create a value, create a need, convey the charges. If the patient is happy enough to go ahead, or you need to make a correction. Not always what you demand as the price for your treatment would be a genuine price. For highly uncooperative children, convincing parents for treatment under sedation or anesthesia is a challenge. Explain them. Or tell them bye-bye if they are not convinced. Use the emotional thing, as I said, hurt it where it hurts the most. I would love to grow the preventive care aspect of my practice. Again, convincing patients for treatment like sealants and fluoride is a challenge. Then who needs to create the awareness? If you are the periodontist, you need to do that. I'm not going to do that on your behalf in your clinic. You need to have a literature, you need to have a video, you need to have a setup regarding to that. Inability to upgrade practice into high ticket customers because of a simple small clinic. The size and the price are second things. It is your skill in selling that matters the most. And of course, your domain skills as well, your dentistry skills as well, which are most important in getting the conversion done. Which are most important in getting the conversion done. So don't think that you have a small clinic, so you will not be able to sell. I have given an example of a senior colleague in my town who was working in civil hospital a few years back, and he had a clinic in a lane where even a two-wheeler could not go with the difficulty, a very small clinic in the dingy dark lanes, and he had a roaring practice. So there are, you can say, no reasons for that. Don't give yourself that a reason that I don't have a show-off clinic, so I will not be able to do that. Then patients consistently trying to compare treatment charges with their previous charges, either by me or someone else. Lots of consultation time gets wasted on justifying and explaining charges. Why do you want to justify the charges? Because you don't want to lose the patient. You don't want to lose the patient because there is already a compromised number of patients that are walking in, less number of leads. Remember the first thing we started in the morning. If you have ample amount of leads, you will not even bother. This is the charges. This is the way. You will not waste time over it. Because once you waste too much time over it, even if that consultation matures or materializes, तो मन खट्टा हो जाता है. The grapes are sour after that. So learning new things, but not able to find time to implement constantly. A specific term for that is KC, knowledge cholesterol. Many of us have a lot of knowledge cholesterol. We keep on attending webinars after webinars. We become WJs, webinar junkies. Nashedi, webinar junkies, all watch, no action. All watch, no action. अब ना कॉन्सेप्ट बोलते हैं इसको. सिर्फ देखा, भूल गए, कुछ नहीं एक्शन लिया. ये ना उन्होंने बोला था, दिया था, पर मेरे केस में ऐसे है. एलिफेंट थ्योरी इनटू एक्शन. ना करने के 1000 रीजन, यस करने का एक रीजन. People who walk the hard mile, they are successful because they have said a yes to someone themselves first before they started taking the hard mile or the hard talk or the hard walk. Patient visiting clinic just to inquire the cost of a procedure from the staff and leaves. जाने दो. That's it. Instruct कर दो staff को, नहीं बताना. डॉक्टर साहब की फीस लगेगी, अंदर जाओ, उनसे जाके पूछ लो. ऐसे को बताओ भी मत. जो इतना आपसे विंडो शॉपिंग करने आया, why do you want him to be your patient? Why do you want every window shopper? फिर वही reason, lack of leads, less flow of the patient. जो आया वो वापस नहीं जाना चाहिए, कुछ ना कुछ दे के जाए. अंदाज अपना अपना था ना, आया हूं कुछ तो लेकर ही जाऊंगा. क्राइम मास्टर गोगो, वो वाला एटीट्यूड हो जाता है हमारा. वो एटीट्यूड छोड़ दीजिए. Patient asking for an installment payment and finally not paying it properly. फाइनेंस कंपनी भी खोल लिया अपने साथ में. किसने बोला था? मैंने बोला था 2 इंस्टॉलमेंट्स. खुद दी हैं तो खुद भुगतो. Why are you making them realize this thing? Sometimes the lab work is failing to meet the expectations of a dentist. Is it a pain point? Change the lab. नहीं आपके शहर में अच्छी तो दूसरे शहर भेज दो. So many people I know, they don't get a work done from the local lab. They don't find a good lab. Outsource kar do. It is not a pain point. Short expiry of certain dental products which becomes unused at the end. So why did you buy it first? Did you have the need for that? Need थी नहीं, analyze किया नहीं. जो 2 सबसे बड़े चोर है ना, expiry of materials and material wastage by the assistant staff. These are the 2 biggest silent thieves of the clinic. it really becomes difficult to explain how the clinic works, why this month the income is less, or why we need to keep investing again and again for a clinic to my husband who is not a dentist. अब इसमें क्या होता है, एक होता है पैशन ड्रिवन बिजनेस, एक होता है सर्वाइवल बिजनेस, एक होता है इनकम ड्रिवन, देन वन ऑफ देम इज लेगेसी ड्रिवन. अब जो पैशन ड्रिवन होता है उसमें होता है मेरे को तो अपने 5-6 घंटे टाइम स्पेंड करना है, जो आ जाए गुड इनफ, नहीं आए तो भी कोई फर्क नहीं. बट इफ योर हाउस इनकम इज डिपेंडेंट अपॉन यू, देन यू नीड टू डेवलप अ सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी. अकाउंटेबिलिटी के बिना कुछ नहीं होता है. आई एम डूइंग अ वर्कशॉप राइट नाउ ऑल्सो, प्रैक्टिस मैनेजमेंट वर्कशॉप इज गोइंग ऑन द बैकग्राउंड. सो इस बार मैंने बड़ा डिफरेंट स्टाइल ट्राई किया उनके साथ. जिन्होंने यस किया उनको सिलेबस सारा पता था. बिफोर saying a yes, before paying, they had to do one more thing. See the schedule of the next 4 weeks from 31st July to 28th of August. Plus minus 2 days because 27th, 28th I have a wedding in the family. So 28th तक का schedule दे दिया. If this schedule is acceptable to you, go ahead, or else do not enroll for this workshop. All 27 or 28, how many are there? 29 of them, they said a yes. 31 rather. 31 of them who are there, they said a yes. Then only they went ahead. And yes, some of them are a little slow, but most of them are doing their homework. Because what I set in before, the context which I set in was accountability. I keep on changing formats of my workshop because I want more finishers from my workshop. I want action takers. I want them to learn. मेरा वो काम नहीं है कि मेरे को तो पैसे आ गए वर्कशॉप से पहले प्रीपेड, मेरा काम हो गया, वैसे भी रिकॉर्डेड वर्कशॉप है, बट माई इन्वॉल्वमेंट इज 100% विद देम. इवन दोज हु हैव डन रिकॉर्डेड दे नो इट. मेरा रिकॉर्डेड भी लाइव जैसा ही होता है. सो व्हाट व्हाई आई एम गिविंग दिस एग्जांपल इज दैट इफ योर क्लिनिक इज पैशन ड्रिवन, there need not be any accountability. But if it is an income driven where you and your husband's income combine to run your house, then I'm sure you need to have a little bit of accountability, not to him first, but to yourself first. वो तो बाद में पिक्चर में आएंगे. But if it's a passion driven, tell it. If I'm breaking even, I'm happy with it. I'm doing it for my own satisfaction. The house is running with your income. I just want to spend time. I don't want to make it in loss, but I want to run it my way. Fair enough. Need to understand. Problem वहां आती है जब growth driven business जो होता है, या finance driven business, या उसको बोलते हैं ना, wealth creation driven format, वो जाता है passion driven में. जब इनकम नहीं होती तो बोलता है हम तो पैशन के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, हम तो समाज सेवा कर रहे हैं. नो, यू आर लाइंग टू योरसेल्फ. यू आर नॉट डूइंग दैट. वो नहीं हुआ तो आप ये आंसर दे रहे हैं. रिमेंबर दैट. Okay. So this finishes the process pain points. I think we should call it a day here. The 4, 5, 6, 7 are there. They are not much lengthy also. So I stop my share for you can say 1 second. Again, before I sign off, would like to say thank you to all of you. And of course, this is my WhatsApp community. Most of you are in there. If you want any colleague to be added, let me know. So YouTube channel, do subscribe to the channel. All of these solutions are already in different videos, in different formats, are already given in depth, in detail over there. Of course, I've tried to add many new aspects from my paid workshops in this. This is the reason precisely this video will not go on YouTube. This is the reason because there was a lot of paid content which was shared. I hope you made notes because you will not get to watch this on YouTube. So today we have launched this also, the PhD platform to eradicate the DMF index of dentistry. So I hope these 2 sessions, this turned out to be almost close to 1 hour and 45 minutes. They were good enough to give you some amount of knowledge. And of course, that knowledge does not end up being knowledge cholesterol for you. I hope you become immune from the AVNA approach, all watch and no action approach. So this is the webinar that will come up in the evening, lessons from the tax filing and of course, correcting those mistakes. The link will be shared in the group, has been shared already. I'll share this group immediately after this. I did not want to share it in the morning because I didn't want all of you to get confused. So my digital footprints all are in my name, Dr. Bhavdeep. This is the reason specifically why they are in such a manner. Of course, the group will also be in the name of Dr. Bhavdeep. Do send me a feedback in the group wherever you are there, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. Bookers and Brickbat both would be welcome in equal measure. Whatever you want to write, honest feedback. Treat this as an exercise for yourself. I already gave you a offline and an online thing, a content marketing plan in a bit, Monday ko ye, Tuesday ko ye. Let it be a first part of your exercise. If you don't give a feedback, remember, don't expect the same from your patient. Then you say your patients don't value your work. How you derive the value? By your feedback. If you don't give the feedback, don't expect it back also. Karma is a very bad thing. It bites you back badly. Thank you once again. And I stop my share for questions. Firstly, I'll take up from the chat and then I'll unmute all of you for all the queries that are there. Just give me a minute to enlarge the chat box. Okay, LC. Good afternoon, everyone. Visible, we can see. I can type your queries. If there are not any, I can see only the responses. So almost everyone said no to the feedback part. So do give in a feedback today. Lifelong learners. So what Dr. Mustafa says, what data do we need from the marketing agencies to assess if they are marketing, if it's the correct way, and if that marketing is working for us? Dr. Mustafa, that is going to be a very long answer, but to cut it really short, you need to just ask them about the leads first. How many leads they have been giving consistently in the past, number one, and what is their success ratio or the CPL part for the, you can say the client, whatever CPL they have given in the past. These are the first two metrics they will give. Some of them will say, we'll provide you only with the phone number, or some of them will say, we'll provide the number of hits. Hits and clicks are not customers, remember that. So you need to understand that the valid leads are the one which yield a phone number or a landing page or a CTA, as we say, call to action. So how many call to action is generated is into there. But yes, marketing is a detailed subject. We need a lot of parameters other than the ones that I gave you. So I'm giving you the two broader ones. Okay. Yes, Dr. Ajay, Khiladi se pehle Saugandh movie aayi thi. Yes, and I remember people made a comment about it. His entry in the movie was वो उल्टा चढ़ के आया था, हाथ जमीन पे उसके पैर ऊपर थे. In that said, जो इंसान ने फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में एंट्री उल्टी की है वो कितना लंबा जाएगा. And 33-32 years is still going strong. Akshay Kumar. So okay, thank you, Dr. Abha, for your kind words. Thank you, Dr. Ronak. Thank you, Dr. Amit. Thank you, Dr. Nikita. Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. Thank you, Dr. Sabyasachi. Thank you, Dr. Bhavna. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh sir. Thank you, Dr. Bindu. Thank you, Dr. Ronak. I hope he's in the right place, in the best of the places. Thank you, Dr. Manali. Thank you, Dr. Manish. Thank you, Dr. Sandeep. Thank you, Dr. Deep. Thank you, Dr. Sonal. Thank you, Dr. Swati. Thank you, Dr. Archana. Thank you, Dr. Amit. Great and damdar voice note session. Eye, brain, ear open. I always do with full energy, Dr. Amit. You know that I don't do half-hearted efforts. I can't do that. Yes. Okay, you missed the first 30 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Shravani. Thank you, Dr. Aarti. Thank you, Dr. Parul. Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. Thank you, Dr. Karan. Dr. Mustafa says, yes, sir. How to use the Google data analytics that they promote? Google data, much of the data is rigged. They give only analytical data to those who invest through them. That is as simple as that. There are many agencies, those who don't directly work with Google. They only work in their own space, but they just have a understanding agreement with the Google part. So many of those statistics are rigged also. But as I said, there are so many things else that we need to look at. Thank you, Dr. Snehal. Thank you, Dr. Anu. Thank you, Dr. Harsh. Thank you. Yes, waiting for new things to learn. Thank you, Dr. Chaita. Thank you, Dr. Raghu. Thank you, Dr. Rishikesh. Thank you, Dr. Abhigya. It's my third year of the clinic. This is the best. Happy anniversary to your clinic, Dr. Abhigya. So, Dr. Pyan, ekdam pramdar, power-packed session, mind-boggling. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. Dr. Rajesh, thank you. Heard the last 1 hour. I saw the messages, but loved the content, and I'm looking forward to many of us practicing. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nikita. Please do post your feedback in the group. This WhatsApp chat is with me only. It should motivate others also, because practice is not that hard as we make it out to be. As you might have seen, practice is one thing which comes with patience, perseverance, and a lot of skill and effort. But you need to have the right mindset also for that. So I have given all of you the opportunity to unmute yourself. You can unmute and ask. Dr. Ravi Toshniwal, you can go ahead and ask, please. Switch on your video, unmute yourself. Dr. Ravi, please go and ask your query.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
So it was very nice seminar, full power pack, and your emotions were running through literally. I mean, everyone can palpate it, the emotions. I have attended lots of your webinar live, but this one was really kind of special one. So thank you a lot for it.
The special days webinars require a special effort. It is a mini day of education dedicated to my dad, and this is the way my dad used to express his feelings. When he was trying to inculcate a concept in someone, this is the way he used to teach. I'm nowhere close to it, but I'm trying my best to emulate him.
It was like more inspiring than any Chak De or any Karmat Maidan Fateh song.
Thank you so much.
My question is that I'm practicing here at a taluka place, tier 3 city since 12 years. When I was the only dentist in the town, many of my there was a rush of OPD. हमेशा बहुत सारे patient रहते थे. लेकिन जैसे जैसे now mushrooming of dental clinics happen, few of my old patient who I think I have given quite good result, और उन्होंने भी वो testify किया है कि अच्छा result आया. Still they are going to other dentists, maybe due to price, maybe due to few of them are there relative, maybe due to casteism, or maybe I say that I was not aware that shopkeeper can also influence the decision of a patient to go to a particular dentist. So ये कई कारणों की वजह से वो जा रहे हैं. तो how can I get back them, or how can I create new one? क्योंकि पहले I used to be very busy. Nowadays अभी काफी मुश्किल हो रहा है सब.
What is that you do for your lead generation?
So अभी तक तो automatic होता था. तो अभी now have started attending various social programs. और बाकी सर अभी और लगता है सर, अभी सालों से 10 साल से किसी से बात नहीं की, अभी आप जाते हो
तो मान के चलो ना 10 साल तक आपका लक अच्छा चल रहा था. इट वाज लक बाय चांस, अच्छा रहा. अब आपका अपना एफर्ट करने का टाइम आ गया. जो मुश्किल टाइम था, जो इनिशियल मुश्किल टाइम था, वो भगवान ने निकाल दिया. अब आप सेटल हो चुके हो, तो अब भगवान कहते थोड़ा अपने भी हाथ से पुण्य और कर्म कर लो. डू द ऑफलाइन, डू द ऑनलाइन.
अच्छा ट्रीटमेंट क्या है?
So what?
नहीं सर, दैट इज एग्री. लेकिन मेरा जिसका अच्छा भी फिर भी वो क्यों गए दूसरे की तरफ? वो
they might have found a little creep in the hole, little creep in your boat, a little hole in your boat, कि कहीं ना कहीं से पहले ही अच्छा करते थे, जब से इन्होंने पैसे बढ़ाए इनका उतना ध्यान नहीं रहता, पहले से ज्यादा काम. I'm just giving you an example, don't take it personally, and just giving you an example. जब से इन्होंने पैसे बढ़ाए हैं तब से just a minute, I'm muting you just for a minute. तो जब से इन्होंने पैसे बढ़ाए हैं, इनके पास उतना है नहीं है, उतना टाइम नहीं लगाते. पहले एक फिल्म को 25 मिनट 20 मिनट लगाते थे, अब ये 15 मिनट में करके हो जाते हैं. They don't see the aspect that we may have perfected that art, that what we used to do in 25 minutes, now we can do that in 15 minutes. You may be equally dedicated what you were before, but you need to convey this. You need to tell them. You need to be more vocal with your old patients. You need to retention वाले जो पुराना पेशेंट होता है ना, उसको रिटेन करना ज्यादा जरूरी होता है. न्यू पेशेंट बनाना मुश्किल है. न्यू पेशेंट को आपके सिस्टम में ढालना, आपके तरीके में we can say imbibe karna, it is slightly difficult sometimes. It takes a lot of time. The old patient is already knowing about everything. So retention of the old patients is more important than gathering or hunting for new patients. That is what I say. So you can say the patients might have been feeling कि नहीं पहले साफ सुथरा ज्यादा था clinic, अब उतना नहीं है. Just looking at various options possible. Maybe उतना ध्यान नहीं था, अब पेशेंट ज्यादा हो गए हैं, ज्यादा महंगे हो गए हैं. Price might be one of the reasons, but the price has to go down with value also, because people conveyed price ज्यादा ले रहे हैं लेकिन काम तो पहले की तरह अच्छा कर रहे हैं ना. When that thing कि पैसे भी बढ़ा दिए और काम भी down गया, in their eyes, in their perception, it might not be wrong or right. That is thing that is to be decided later. Look out for the factors which have caused a leak in your ship. There might be some hole in your Titanic. It might be. The self-analysis has to be done by us only. So unless you find that hole, this hole will continue to have more water in the ship, and that will lead to more leakage.
Right. So,
Okay.
Many times what I feel is that few things are beyond my control. Like किसका कोई relative आ गया, किसी के कोई caste का आ गया, किसी के कोई मोहल्ले गांव का आ गया, तो just I can't do anything. Okay.
It is all perception. It is all perception, because the point is that when you have not been doing efforts, then your effort is counted as a special effort when you make it for the first time. कि पहले इनका ऐसे चलता था, अब पेशेंट ने तो अभी ऐड कर रहे हैं, अब ये उस तरह कर रहे हैं. It is not about that. It is about creating a information and awareness. It is about doing good karma which is going to come back to you. That is a simple line. Okay.
Right. Right. Sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Dr. Mustafa has written right. Do take a feedback where you feel that things have not been the same like earlier. Yes, any else query from anyone? You can unmute yourself and ask. Anyone? No, Sabyasachi, गुस्सा बिल्कुल भी नहीं था. It was just I was trying to emulate my dad, the way he used to speak. 30 June lectures were maybe a little soft and somber, but I had intentionally, the pain points are very close to my heart. So it was not a gussa, it was coming, yes, surely that from dil se, but it was not an anger at any point of time. Yes, anyone else having any query? Okay, guys, then let's call it a day, and I see you in the evening at 8 o'clock with the finance session, which you can share with your friends and family, because financial groups come with a different reason, different purpose. So do post in your feedback as a part of this exercise in the respective WhatsApp group wherever you are. Whatever were your truly heartfelt words other than thank you, please do post in there, so that people who did not attend, at again, like in the morning the attendance was close to 71, 72 at one point of time. 1430 people who missed it out, they should know what they missed. So go ahead and post your feedback, and I see you again at 8 o'clock. Bye bye, take care. Thank you so much.